Hi, my name is Nestor Martino. I'm 19 years old. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I grew up in Dorchester. I've gone through the hardships just like anybody else, and like anybody else, I do have a story to tell.
Hi, my name is Ibelis Cruz. I'm a mother of 3. As a single mother, I raised them, and it was very hard for me.
I have 2 brothers, a twin brother named Anthony and an older brother named Johnny. My father has 5 sons. I grew up on a dead-end street, small street in Dorchester called Woodledge Street, and we lived on the 3rd floor, so we had a pretty good optic view of the entire neighborhood and what went on. My room was right where the window was, so every day I would sit out my window and kind of watch the interaction between the older men and the drug addicts that came and were searching for drugs, the young teens that would kind of sit on rocks and smoke all day. That type of stuff drew me in. It kind of influenced me heavily during my childhood, and through the years I grew to become that person that I saw in front of the corner store, that person that I used to look up to when I was a young cat.
It was quiet in the beginning when we moved, but then when summertime came, it was a lot different. There was a lot of drugs, shooting, problems. Because of that, I think that changed the personality of my kids. They started also hanging out with the wrong crowd, with the wrong people, and getting into more trouble, and there were more arrests. It came to the point that I went to court so many times with them that I almost lost my job.
So as I grew older and I began to take on the role of the street thug or whatever the label might be, lo and behold, the Blood Street Gang became my new label. I was getting into some pretty heavy stuff, man. I was getting, locked up. I was constantly going in and out of jail. After a 15-month bid in DYS as a juvenile, I was on my way to work and pretty much minding my own business till I got called over by a group of men, and after a little bumping of the heads, we wound up getting into an argument. We wound up fighting, and lo and behold, one of them draws a gun and just let off 2 shots. One struck me in the leg and just knocked me down. Not too long after getting shot, I was found in my old neighborhood with a firearm, and I was incarcerated and sentenced to 365 days in South Bay. I was in my cell awaiting for my sentencing to go to South Bay, and that's when I actually made my decision to accept Jesus Christ as my Savior. I believed that my sins were cleansed. I believed that everything that I had done before was in the past, and I was ready to take new steps in a new direction. For the person that thinks that being in a gang binds them to a unsuccessful future, I would say there's definitely a way out. You only live once, and you don't want to actually waste your time staying in a small-minded world when there's actually a bigger world that we live in. And being that I realized that, I chose the only way that I saw fit to actually step away and learn from a higher power. After getting my GED in South Bay, I then went through the Offenders Reentry Program, which introduced me to the Bunker Hill Community College. I'm currently attending the Bunker Hill Community College for Fine Arts. While I was busy with gangs in the streets and stuff like that, I pretty much forgot about art and decided to do what I wanted to do. Following through with these programs and transitioning, getting my GED and reading the Bible, I came back to what I love to do most, and that's creating. Artists for Humanity to me is like my second home, almost like church for artists. It gives me a sense of responsibility. It gives me an outlet for my creativity. I get to paint for money. Robert Gibbs, aka Pro Black, is my mentor at Artists for Humanity, and he's been much more than that throughout the years. He's been like my brother. He's been through numerous events with me. He was there when I was baptized. He was there when I sold my first painting. He taught me how to paint. He taught me everything that he knew about painting. He pretty much gave me my first set of brushes.
The School of Ness. Where can I start? He's not selfish with what he knows or what he's learned. People will see it and be blown away by it. They're like, damn, who did that? You point to him and they're like, oh, for real? He did that with what? And how? Are you serious? Or just people just watch how diligent he is in front of his piece. His commitment is unsung. And a perfect way to describe what the School of Ness is more or less like he's not walking around like, let me teach you a lesson. He's actually leading by example. For the most part, I can see and tell you about each piece that probably Nuss created and how much time did he actually spend in front of it, but how much time he didn't spend in front of it working with somebody else, helping them get their skills up to par. There's times where he'll be sitting on the edge of the windowsill sketching in his book and have a little crowd around him. And the little crowd is just wondering, well, what's going on? Who knows what they're talking about? I'm on my business. It's more or less about everybody paying attention to more than just what he's able to create, but his lifestyle. I gotta congratulate him, man, because he's not sitting back as the victim. He's not walking around using his story as a cop-out or a cry for help, anything like that. He's actually doing something about it. It's kind of weird because for every picture I've seen him in recently, there's a strange glow around him. I've been to probably 7 weddings this year, and I've seen like all these images of Jesus or whatever, and I'm like, they really got this halo on this dude. But then when I see pictures of Ness, he has this same halo, this glow. It's a glow. I don't know what it is or how it's coming, or maybe I'm the only one seeing it, but I know he's something great, man. We all are placing each other's lives for a reason. I'm not looking for the answer of that reason yet. I just know that it's a good family.
Today is now February 9th, 2008, and I am pleased to share with the world that I have been accepted to the Cooper Union School of Art on a 4-year full scholarship in New York City. My plan is to, by the grace of God, become the greatest artist of the century and show the world that you can overcome evil with good. I'm thankful for my mother's love and her support and what I love to do. My father for actually influencing me to take my Christian path a little bit more seriously. And everybody that works for the good in my life.